All right, now we need to talk about how to add and subtract rational expressions. But before we get into things with variables in them, let's go back to what we know about just fractions, just plain old numbers. And let's try and review those rules and get good at those. All right, so when we have a problem like this that says 7/12 plus 1/12, remember that in order to add fractions, you have to have a common denominator. And in this case, both of the denominators are 12, so we already have that condition. Which means then probably by this time in your math education, then you would say, well, I know what to do. We will just add the numerators. So that would be 8 over that common denominator of 12. And then we could reduce this down. Let's see, what can go into 8 and 12? 4. 4 would go into 8 2 times, and 4 would go into 12 3 times. So really that is 2/3. Okay, that's true. That is the answer. But let's look to see what's really going on in this problem. Let me start over and say, okay, here we have 7/12 plus 1/12. It is true, you must have a common denominator first, no matter what. But we just added the numerators. When it gets to letters and things like that, we're not going to be able just to add them together so easily. So let's do this out step by step, focusing on the process. Once the denominator is the same, then we know that our denominator will be 12. And we are adding these numerators, so really that is 7 plus 1 over 12. This is the step that we did in our head a while ago, which really and truly is 8 over 12. See, we did this step in our head. We just went straight from adding those fractions to here's the answer. Now, we also, when we work with numbers, it's real easy just to say, okay, well, what will go into both of those? But remember, when we're going to start dealing with letters, we have to really understand the concept behind it. What's really happening here is we're saying, okay, 8 could be rewritten as 2 times 4, and 4 would be 2 times 2. So if I write it out as its prime factors, it would be 2 times 2 times 2. Now the 12. Well, 12 would be 2 times 6, but 6 could be 2 times 3. So really 2 times 2 times 3 is the prime factorization of 12. And now we can cancel out common factors top and bottom because 2 over 2 is really 1. And again, 2 over 2 is really 1. So all we're left with is 2 over 3. Just paying attention to what's truly happening there will really help us whenever we get to the letters. All right, now let's do one with a subtraction. And again, the rules are very similar for subtraction. The most important thing is that we have to have a common denominator. In this case, we do. So we know that we're going to have all of this over 12. Now, going step by step, 7 minus 1, we would normally do that in our head, but we're going to write that out, 7 minus 1, which simplifies into 6 divided by 12. Now let's look at this in its primes. So 6 would be 2 times 3, and 12 would be 2 times 6. 6 could be broke down into 2 times 3. And now we can cancel out those factors of 1. We've got 2 over 2 is 1, and 3 over 3 is 1. So all we're left with on top is a 1, and on bottom is a 2. So our answer would be 1/2.